World in Turmoil, brought to you by Edward Schmalz. The situation in Iraq. The recent offensive launched by Sunni militants of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria organization is a huge threat to Iraq's security. Iraq is a country saddled with a vibrant and ancient past. However, in recent years, it has mostly been known for its role in the recent conflicts in the Middle East. Recently occupied by the United States after the Second Iraq War, the country has been run by a democratically elected government. However, the actions of the ISIS group threaten the stability of this region. Syria is also a nation with a rich past that is currently in civil war. Sharing a border with Iraq, the two nations have much shared history and perhaps a shared fate. Little is known about Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the man shepherding thousands of radicals between Syria and Iraq. He was originally aligned with Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization behind the September 11th attacks, before the two broke ties over ISIS's brutal tactics. Baghdadi is arguably the most successful Islamist terrorist since Osama bin Laden, and the State Department is offering a $10 million reward for his capture. A caliphate is an Islamic state led by a supreme religious and political leader known as a caliph, that is, successor to Muhammad and the other prophets of Islam. The two main sects of Islam are the Sunni and Shiite sect. 85% of all Muslims are Sunni, and in a nutshell, they follow the sayings and practices of the Prophet Muhammad directly. The Shiite Muslims, on the other hand, believe that Muhammad's rightful kin were his successors to his role as caliph, and that the last of this line may appear soon. This is, of course, an oversimplification, but this basic background can be useful in helping understand the tensions underlying the Middle East. Al-Qaeda and the ISIS are hard-line Sunnis. This is not to say that all Sunni, or even most Sunnis, agree with the militant opinions of these groups. So what do the ISIS want? The Islamic State in Iraq has vowed to establish a caliphate, a unified Islamic government ruled by a caliph, someone considered to be the successor to Muhammad's political authority, stretching from western Syria across Iraq to the eastern border with Iran. The U.S. has been involved with Iraq for many years. After Saddam Hussein, the dictator of Iraq, invaded Kuwait, a small country allied with the U.S., the United States responded in what became known as Operation Desert Storm. This operation defeated Saddam Hussein, who retreated back within Iraq's borders. However, in 2003, the United Nations became suspicious of the potential that Iraq was developing weapons of mass destruction, such as nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons. And after a series of investigations, the United States and allies, under the leadership of President George W. Bush, decided to preemptively attack. The troops were successful at the beginning, toppling the government in a matter of days. However, this immediate success was followed by a long period of insurgency, in which the United States spent a great deal of time training Iraqi soldiers to manage the country. The use of a tactic called the Surge, commanded by General David Petraeus, allowed the U.S. to gain an upper hand against the insurgents. This tactic involved deploying more soldiers for a shorter period of time. After this success, President Barack Obama issued a call for the gradual recall of all American troops from Iraq, leaving the Iraqi government in charge of their own fate. Soon after the departure of American troops, the ISIS captured the city of Fallujah and other territory on June 10, 2014, the ISIS overran parts of the country's second largest city, Mosul. An estimated 500,000 people fled from the city as the security forces abandoned their posts. On June 11, 2014, the ISIS took control of Saddam Hussein's hometown of Tikrit, and soldiers and security forces once again abandoned their posts. On June 12, 2014, the ISIS vowed that they would march onward to Iraq's capital, Baghdad. The ISIS has been responsible for numerous human rights violations. UN expert Naya Pillay reports that they have been actively seeking out, and in some cases killing, soldiers, police, and others, including civilians, whom they perceive as being associated with the government. Amongst the dead are 1,700 Shiite prisoners, 5 Catholic deacons from a monastery leveled by the militants, and countless other civilians, men, women, and children, slaughtered via direct attacks. So what might happen? Some people believe that a war may occur if the United States decides to get re-involved, a Iraq III war. Others believe that the United States and their long-term political rivals, Iran, may team up and attempt to tackle this together because this is an issue that threatens both of them. It is also possible that the U.S. will send drones or missile strikes to target those that they believe to be in charge of this. There is the possibility that this ISIS caliphate may become a reality, and this state may emerge. So it's important to think about these issues so you understand what's going around in the world around you. It's important that you, when you're old enough, vote, but even before that, stay up to date and understand these issues, because your opinion and your knowledge can affect those around you. Good luck, and thanks for listening. World in Turmoil, brought to you by Edward Schmalz. The situation in Iraq. The recent offensive launched by Sunni militants of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria organization